So you end up going away to prison in 2008, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you're sentenced already, or that's the trial and everything?
No, I went to jail in 2008, so I was
Okay.
awaiting trial. I sat on Rikers Island for almost 4 years. I blew trial, and I got hit with 19 years.
So, okay, take us through the actual trial. They're hitting you with like audio recordings and shit like that, right? And trying to twist it.
A whole bunch of audio. I had 10,000 audio recordings. So,
God damn.
and some of them audio recordings was inadmissible. So what they did was they took 300 audio conversations of mine and they played them like it was the greatest hits. You know, they was like, yo, he meant this when he said that. So if I had a conversation with Hoke and I was like, yo, Hoke, we need to go uptown. Because in the Bronx, we call the Bronx uptown. So we was in Harlem. I call Hoke and say, yo, take me uptown. The police just say, they're switching and say uptown mean drugs. And basically they was just playing word semantics with my conversations. And that, along with a few rat ass snitches, is the reason why I blew trial, you know?
Right. So, because they had you guys on conspiracy, right? And then everybody had the other little small charges.
Right. So I blew to a robbery, assault, 3 drug sales, and conspiracy.
The way that Hocus described it, he said that you guys were not necessarily angels because you were living the street life, but the charges were amped up charges.
Yeah. See, it really wasn't a conspiracy. Because at the end of the day, everybody individually did their own thing. So even when they try to use the gang aspect, they didn't have me pegged as a gang member, right? The judge said that was inadmissible. So now I'm trying to get a separation from the gang life, but they're like, oh, but these are your brothers, right? So there was no way they wasn't going to keep me on that trial. I mean, they was going to separate me from that trial. They wanted to keep me on that trial. So,
Right.
so they amped up the charges, of course, because the guy that was telling, like the little young kid, that he shot somebody in the leg and he was scared to do 6 years in jail. So he just told on everybody in the neighborhood. He made up shit too, you know?
Were you guys really close to him?
No, his uncles was cool. You know, we grew up with him.
You guys were really close with his peoples though.
Yeah.
And they even felt bad knowing that he did what he did.
To this day, they kind of fucked up behind it, you know? Because it's like, yo, he didn't have to do that, you know? Like, you didn't have to do that. Do you lose 6 years? Yo, when you get sentenced to 6 years in New York State, you're only going to do about 3.5, 4 years. This guy was just like so scared, and the police coerced him to basically just tell lies. They wanted us off the street, you know?
So what ended up happening with him?
I don't know. He could be in witness protection. I heard he was gay. You know what I'm saying? They say he was sleeping. No, I'm just joking. I don't know. You know, I don't want. He's a fuck, but he's somewhere. Oh yeah. Matter of fact, I was with somebody that actually know about him recently. Say he out there just begging his mom for money. Like, he's just nobody. He's just once you snitch, you can't go back to none of these neighborhoods. You know,
right?
And he's just out here fucked up in the street. Like, you know, he lost all his friends. He's a shell of himself. He's finished, you know?
So take us through the actual day when you find out that you blow trial, you get the 19. Like, what is that like?
I was hurt, man, because I'm like, when you blow trial, you don't get the time yet. I had to wait another month to get sentenced. So they sent me back to Rikers Island for a month, and then, you know, they sentenced me. But
even at this time, you already wasted 4 years of your life because you've been going through this whole experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So when I blew trial, I remember going back to the dorm, because I was in a dorm at the time, and the whole house looked at me and they was sad, because I was like one of them guys that was really well liked on Rikers Island, and everybody that knew, even the correction officers, was sad. And I remember calling home and speaking to my older brother who passed away, God bless his soul, my brother Reem, and he was like, "Don't worry, we're gonna get you the best lawyer in the country." You know, he was just trying to lighten up my spirits and shit. But they threw me right in the box after I blew trial. So I was going through so much different emotions because they was like, yo, pack up, you going in the box. I was like, damn. So I blew trial, and then you put me in punitive segregation. You punished me. So I guess that was to break me even more. And they threw me in the box. And I remember getting a letter from my brother again, and he was just telling me, he was just trying to raise my spirits. Like, he was just really trying to raise my spirits. It's gonna be all right. We're gonna get you the best lawyer, for appeal. And that was it.
So you said you were going through a different, like a numerous different emotions during that time, right? I
Yeah.
imagine when something like that happens, you break it down in tears too.
See, I didn't break down in tears. I broke down and I started tearing because they was sad. You understand?
You felt, oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So it wasn't like if they all crying and breaking down. These are the toughest men in the world to me, and they breaking down. They're like, damn, because we didn't know what I was gonna get. Like, my lawyer said I was gonna get 30 years, and I said, damn, 30 years. Like, is this shit really that serious? 30 years. But the way they was back then when I got sentenced, because now all this prison reform, they wouldn't dare give you no time like that. The shit that I was locked up for, Panda, if I'd have caught that case now, I probably would have did 2 years. You know,
Unbelievable.
yeah, it was harsh back then. It was harsh. And to the court, we just a bunch of menaces to society. So they punished me, and I was this is my first felony. They punished me, got me out the way. I was mad young.
When Hocus got when he won his situation, right? Did that give you confidence that you were going to have the same outcome?
Um, well, as far as with my appeal, because I already blew trial by then.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So
I thought that was gonna, I thought that I was gonna come home on appeal because there was so much issues at my trial. Jurors was falling asleep. Like, this motherfucker couldn't even remember what the DA was presenting or what was going on in the trial. So I brought that up as an issue. I had so many different issues. They denied it, in appellate court. But I was just happy that Hope was home because I knew that it would make my mom happy. It would make my brothers and sisters happy. I knew, like, see, my whole life was going to be a struggle, or I thought at least it was going to be a struggle. So I just embraced the struggle. You understand?
right.
Like, I wasn't political in a sense where, yeah, I'm here for a political reason. I mean, I did dirt, but I knew that them slaying me and giving me that much time, because I know people who was killing people and got 15 years, 12 years, 10 years. So for them to give me that much time, I know that was a warning for the whole neighborhood. Like,
So they were trying to make an example out of you.
no, they didn't try. They made the example.
Right.
They made the example. So I just took it like, all right, it. I'm a soldier. That's where the tough guys go, right? They go to prison, you know? And it was the worst experience I ever had. But it was also, and it sounds kind of like contradiction for what I'm about to say, but it was a great experience in the same, because it taught me discipline. It taught me a lot. It taught me some shit that I just couldn't. Like, I felt more free being in prison than I was in the street, because I had obligations in the street as far as, you know, I had a rap crew that I was a part of. I had a lot of pressures on me. When I blew trial, all that shit was over. You know what I'm saying? Like, just my civic responsibility was over.
It's interesting that you say that because I interview a lot of people, that end up doing bids. And one thing that seems to be pretty common is like in a place where you have no freedom physically, a lot of people find their freedom mentally.
Yes, it opens you up. Now I can focus on getting to know myself, getting to know me, because whether I'm free or whether I'm in jail, I still have to think. You understand?
Right.
I still have to live with myself, and I got to know myself more. I got to make a perfect me, and I think I came home better. I make better decisions and better choices. You understand?
Yeah.
and I'm not afraid to to do things for myself more than how I was back in the day. I used to do it for everybody, you know. I used to just spread myself thin. Now it's like
How old were you at the time when this all started?
22.
22. So
Hmm.
then you spend the 4 years on Rikers,
Hmm.
and then you get sentenced to the 19.
Yep, and I did 15 years out of that 19.
So they gave you 4 years time served.
They gave me four. Yeah, well, the time served was included into the 19 years, right? So when I went up top, which is go up north, when I went up north to the state prisons, I only had 12 years, 10 months to do.
Got you.
So I did 12 years, 10 months up north.
But you did you went to a lot of different prisons though, right?
I've been to a couple prisons. I've been to a
What
couple.
was give us the timeline?
I went to Sing Sing, downstate. Then from
Well,
downstate,
Sing Sing, how long did you spend there?
oh well, I've been to Sing Sing twice. So the
That's
first time
right. I
I
remember you
spent a
saying
couple
that.
of months. I got up out of there, and then they sent me to Clinton. So I did 3 years in Clinton, and then I went back to Sing Sing. Then went back to downstate. Then I went to the Fishkill, right? Went to Fishkill, and Fishkill I went to Queensboro.
What was the reason for them moving you around so much?
Um, One was because I got in trouble in Sing Sing. The second time I got in trouble, but I did good in Sing Sing though. I got an education in there. I finished
Mm-hmm.
school. I got a college degree in Sing Sing. They move you around because my classification was dropped, you know? So my classification dropped and I was getting in trouble. So they just moved me out of there, you know?
You know, it's crazy because when you live somewhere as busy as New York City, right? It's very rare that you have the time to slow down and really think about the things that you've been through in life, your trauma, what you really want to do with your life and stuff. So I noticed that a lot of times when people end up going to prison, that's when they really find themselves and they really take the time to deal with a lot of those things.
And I want to tell you this. That's right. But you can also find yourself out here too, you know? But
Right, you can.
yeah, it's better to find yourself out here, trust me, than finding it in prison, finding yourself in prison. It's just that you just gotta make great choices, man. Because
Yeah.
even in prison, when you go to prison or with someone that experience is a make or break thing. You know how they say something can make you or break you?
Right.
Prison can make you or break you. And usually it breaks the toughest. It breaks you mentally. Because you could be the most brawn, strongest motherfucker in the world, but if your mental not strong, it's gonna break you. It will definitely break you in pieces.
And what I mean too also is because with all the responsibilities and all the day-to-day things, a lot of times people they get so wrapped up in it. It's just like they feel they don't have the time to think about the stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just like go, go, go constantly. But you're right. Obviously, it's better to find those things when on the outside rather than being inside.
Yeah, I think we do out on the outside. We devote our time to so much civic responsibility, the job, you know, the social life, the women, you got to be there for your girl, your kids. We don't really get a chance to reflect, not as much because when you're in prison, you got nothing but time to reflect. So
That's what it's
somehow,
really about. It's about checking in with yourself.
yes, you have to, because you got to live within your own mind and your own body. And if that ain't clear and stable, imagine how your presentation to the world is going to be. It's going to be lopsided. It's going to be fucked up,